If we can't save the cutest animal in the world, what hope do we have? What's up, YouTube? This is the second video in the series about Mist raising her joeys. You're going to see some gorgeous mum and joey footage, some totally awesome jumps. There's going to be the answers to 3 questions that came from patron Eccleston's Angel in the last Mist video. There's a beautiful bonus at the end. Wait till you see this one. This is one jam-packed episode indeed. Koala Gardens is a wildlife sanctuary on private land. Subscribing helps me bring koalas to you, and liking this video helps me bring them to the whole world. I'm lucky enough to live in the koala's backyard with a wild and free colony on the far north coast of New South Wales in Australia. Check out my Patreon options and come over and chat on my public Discord server. You'll find links for these and lots more in the description below. I'm Katrina and I'm passionate about saving koalas. One of the most important things we always need to remember is that koalas are marsupials. So they give birth after only 35 days of pregnancy to a tiny little embryo like joey that crawls up and into their pouch. So that big pouch bulge is actually a joey who is breathing and drinking milk. Just watch how uncomfortable it can be for a mum with a large pouched young, just like it can be uncomfortable towards the end of the pregnancy. Joey is about 4.5–5 months old in this video. The first question that we're going to talk about the answer to was, how aware is Joey of mum when in the pouch? Now, in the first 3 months, Joey is very unformed. It's blind, deaf, no fur, so awareness would be extremely minimal. After 3 months, Joey is beginning to develop significantly and has developed fur. They can hear, they can smell, and they can also see. This indicates that awareness will begin to become much more formed, and every week that goes by, we'll see Joey more and more aware. Now, the kind of awareness is firstly that they will be able to feel mum moving, and this is critical for Joey beginning to develop balance in the treetops. Joey's perfectly safe inside that pouch, and yet Joey will feel all of the motions when the trees are moving, when mum's climbing upwards, when she's descending, and when she's jumping. And they will also feel her calmness at these times, and these feelings or these motions will be completely normal for them. Just like we're told to talk and read to babies in utero, Joey will also be hearing the wind, native sounds, birds around them, feel mum's calmness, and they also are able to smell. This means Joey can smell mum eating, and they will understand the smell of the correct eucalypts to eat, even from when they are in the pouch. And when they first emerge from the pouch, they're on the front of mum's lap, and guess what? Everything is going to feel very similar to how it felt when they were in the pouch, and they will develop on with a recognition of that. Now, I just love this piece of footage here because it demonstrates so clearly that this is a Joey in pouch, not a pregnant mother. Because if you look really carefully through these leaves, there you go, that is Joey's foot sticking out of the pouch. So Joey's now very close to coming out of the pouch completely. Joey's around 6 months old, and between 6 and 7 months, Joey's come out. Here's Miss only another couple of days later, and she certainly looks like this Joey is a burden to carry in that pouch, doesn't she? In those first couple of weeks after Joey emerges, Joey still spends most of their time inside the pouch, but once they begin to fully emerge and they are starting to eat, you'll find that you'll see them more and more often on the front of Mum and sleeping in her lap. This brings me to the next question, which was about Mum always having an arm around Joey or near Joey when they're in their lap. And yes, it is definitely to prevent Joey taking a tumble. If you've ever held a very small baby, or then an older baby and then a child, or the same in an animal, you would know that you can actually feel how stable that child or that animal is, and the more you hold these, the more of a gut sense you develop for how much support they need. Now just watch Mist here as she is moving there in the tree, and that's because Joey's actually getting back into the pouch and it is not comfortable at all. This Joey is almost too big to get back in, but there you go, Joey made it in. Would you make sure you've hit the like button for me on this video? Thanks so much. This is something that we don't often get to see in wild koalas, and it's hard to see it here. I always want to be able to move leaves out the way, but Joey is eating pap. Koala mums are amazing that when Joey needs to get this pap, they start to stimulate around Mum's cloaca, and she's able to deliver contents from her cecum. Oh, it's not a comfortable thing to do though, having a Joey do that to you. But she's able to deliver contents from her cecum directly for Joey to ingest, and this gives Joey the bacteria that is needed to begin to get their cecum working, because koala digestion is all about bacteria. Again, it's not a comfortable process, and it's something we rarely see happening in the wild, but it is critical for Joey to move from feeding on milk to eating leaves. Papping usually happens for a period of 2 to 3 weeks. Joey knows when they've got enough bacteria that they're able to eat leaf without needing to stimulate any more pap from Mum. This is a few days later again. You can see Joey is completely in pouch, and get yourself ready for the most fantastic koala leap of a mum with such a heavy pouch. Now, Joey here weighs more than 10% of Mist's body weight. So that's a lot to carry at the front lower part of your body when you're up in the treetops. But let's just watch her and see how this develops. She has to weigh it up, do a lot of spatial analysis and calculations to get that leap just right. Oh wow, let's watch that again in slow motion. You can see her calculating and working out just what spot she needs to leap from, and here she goes, pushing off with those back legs and absolute precision, landing perfectly, and then leaping on up the tree with those amazing arms that koalas have. What a beautiful girl she is. And all of this is happening at a time when Mist is 12 years old. What an amazing, strong koala mum. You can see that she's climbing quite high up. She's about 20-25 metres from the ground now. And get ready, because there's another jump. Here she goes. Calculate, check the smells, and take another leap to get where you want to go. Let's do it again in slow motion and watch for the pouch opening. You can see it there as she leaps across. Of course, that Joey has an awareness of the feeling of jumping and moving up through the trees, even though to some degree it feels quite different to what it feels to the climbing koala. They certainly understand by the time they're out of the pouch and looking around that feeling of being up high. By the time Joey is 7 to 8 months old, they are eating more and more leaf, but it's still actually quite a learning curve for them. Notice how Mist is sitting with Joey cradled in her lap so that Joey is quite stable, and she's holding a branch of leaf so that there is some leaf in front of Joey, and Joey is doing his darndest to get some of that leaf bitten off and into his mouth. It's not an easy thing for a little Joey mouth to get a hold of and chew off some eucalyptus leaf. The koala mum also develops quite a feeling for how much balance and how strong Joey is becoming. And so the stronger Joey becomes and the more risks Joey takes, the more mum begins to take less and less notice of them and let them do their learning themselves. Koala mums don't coddle their Joeys. They do make sure that they protect them as they can, but they also make sure that Joey develops all of the balance and muscle strength that they're going to need. Watch this for a perfect example. Wow, let's do that again in slow motion. Mist would have been completely aware of how ready Joey was, but at the same time she didn't stop and say, "Hey, right, we're going to do a jump." She just looked across the tree and took a leap because she was ready to. Here we can see that Mist has got Joey very secure, but she wants to have a scratch, and Joey has just got to work himself out amongst that leg that's moving about. This is actually really good learning for Joey, because up in the treetops with the wind blowing, anything can happen as branches move about, and Joey needs to be stable at all times. The last question concerned how long till a Joey begins to sleep by themselves, and we can see here that Joey is sleeping very securely in mum's lap, and Joey at this point is 6 to 7 months old, and as you can see here, at times is still going back inside the pouch, either completely or putting their head in the pouch to drink milk. So Joey needs the support of mum at this time. At 7 to 8 months old, Joey is usually not getting in the pouch anymore and is considered front young. And as front young, a Joey will still always sleep in mum's lap. By 8 to 9 months old, Joey is nearly always seen on mum's back, on her shoulders, and is called back young. But at this point, Joey usually still sleeps with mum, but often you'll actually see Joey sleeping on mum's back or sleeping just behind mum and holding on to her. By 9 to 10 months old, Joey is usually starting to really climb about the trees and feed more independently. And we'll often find you'll see Joey have a big feed, maybe half a metre above mum, and may actually fall asleep there after eating. but usually they'll only sleep in that spot for maybe an hour or two and wake back up, and when they have a long sleep, they'll still sleep with mum. By the 9 to 11 months old, Joey is becoming more and more independent, and we begin to see Joey sleeping further and further away from mum for longer and longer periods of time. It does depend particularly on the Joey and often on the weather conditions. So a couple of weeks of good weather and Joey's really independent, then maybe some poor weather and we find Joey sticking a bit closer to mum as they work their independence out. In the next video of this series, we're going to continue on from this point and watch Joey begin to really develop that independence as they grow in size and their muscle control. So now we've come to the exciting part of the video where we're going to have a look at the bonus I've got for you. I found some photos of Mist with a Joey that I actually took back in 2012. I had no idea at the time that this was Mist. She didn't get named until years later. But this is the oldest photo I've got of an actual named koala. Mist was 5 years old at this time, so this is probably the second Joey that she ever raised. I hope you enjoy the editing that I did to make the photo a little bit arty. This tree is the bloodwood just outside my kitchen window. And guess what? You have made it through to the end of yet another video. If you haven't checked it out already, pop on over to Patreon and have a look at some of the great ways you can help me in the work I'm doing to help koalas. Come and join the Discord channel and get involved in conversations there about what's happening here at Koala Gardens. Make sure you have liked the video because it really helps make sure that YouTube will suggest it to lots and lots of other people. And now, would you write in the comments below, Jumping Mama Mist? I really hope you've enjoyed this video. There's more videos to come in the series of Mist and her Joeys. And I'm also going to do some on Maxine and her Joeys and Stevie and her Joeys because Joeys are just too good to miss out on. So keep on watching. Thanks for visiting Koala Gardens. Did you hit the like button? Now before you go, there's lots more great video to see, and make sure you've subscribed and hit that notification bell.